Fans, hello. Welcome to the 2025 Hart Women's Bowling Media Day. I'm your host, Hart correspondent Stephen Davis, and right now we're thrilled to chat with Mount Mercy University head coach Andy Dirks and senior Elena Carr. Coach Elena, how are things going in Cedar Rapids?
Going great. It's going really well in Cedar Rapids.
Coach,
Weather's a little chilly.
That's true. The weather is chilly.
as always. Coach, we'll start with you. Your women currently first in the RPI in the Hart. Must have been a good run so far. How do you see it?
Yeah, so far things have gone really well. We've led every tournament that we've competed in this year, including 4 Tier 1s, which are our largest events that we compete in. Had a really good run in Las Vegas and won the Tier 1, was runner-up in the second one, and then we also won the first Tier 1 right after the break. So it's been a great season so far.
All right, introduce us to Elena sitting there next to you and tell us how much she means to your program.
I think Elena is obviously a fourth-year senior and wonderful, but she's a big leader on the lanes as well, both from a mental game standpoint and emotional energy, and then also just experience and knowledge. She's a nursing student, so she juggles a lot of really challenging things. And so she helps, with incoming players navigate those things and talk about time management. So it goes way beyond just the lanes.
Elena, this is the first year that Mount Mercy Women's Bowling has competed in the Hart. How much are you looking forward to playing in the conference and competing for the conference championship?
I'm really excited about it. I think all of our girls are really excited about it. It was something we talked about last year, watching conference championships, watching nationals for NAIA, and kind of yearning to be a part of something like that. And I think a lot of the girls are really excited about it. It's a great opportunity for everybody and just phenomenal teams to be up against. So it's a great experience all around.
Lena, you're from Rochester, New York. How did you get into the sport of competitive bowling?
Well, bowling in general, I started because I didn't like watching it at first, and my brother was a bowler. He's a couple years older than me. And so, as opposed to sitting in the back of the alley and watching him bowl, I looked at my mom and said, well, I want to bowl. Like, that looks more interesting than just watching it. And pretty soon I started to learn how to bowl and strategy, and it was fun to beat my brother, and I got a little bit better at it, and I fell in love with the sport and the nuances of it, and kind of like the little mental game of chess that comes along with it. It's not a lot of sports really have that downtime between every single play and thinking about it and using your brain a lot more, but then also you can't use your brain too much, and so I think it's just a great thing to be doing, and I love doing it.
So, being from upstate New York, how did you hear about the opportunity to bowl at Mount Mercy and come all the way to Cedar Rapids?
Um, a couple different things. I did Collegiate Expo when I was in high school and learned about all the different colleges that are out there. I had a couple friends that came out to Mount Mercy or came out to Iowa and the Midwest in general, and so I learned about Andy. And going through the interview process with Andy and the recruitment process, one of the big things for me was an opportunity to grow and an opportunity to learn and not be the best on the team at first and not be the best, like never be the smartest person in the room, never be the best person in the room. And I knew that here at Mount Mercy, that was going to be an option for me. And I was going to be able to learn from those around me constantly. And that's what I wanted. So it was a work in progress getting here, but it's been a great ride.
Coach, we mentioned it's your team's first year competing in the Hart. How much are you looking forward to going to the conference championship and trying to bring home the trophy?
I'm extremely excited. It has been something we've discussed in the past, jumping into the Hart with some of our other teams. Bowling's unique, and we have that USBC side as well. But I think, it helps give us a competitive edge when it comes to the ITCs, but it also is just a great opportunity to face schools that are all in similar size and teams that we see all the time through the season because of proximity. We missed sometimes in postseason, and so I think it's going to be great to have a postseason that's a conference. The university is really excited about having bowling on board as well, and I also think the format's going to be a really fun format to compete in, which is really similar to the NCAA postseason format.
Tell us about that format. I understand you were a big help in implementing it for the fans who aren't familiar. What is that format this year?
So we're going to do a mega match format where we're bracketed based on our RPI standings going into the tournament. And then we will do a double elimination mega matches. And a mega match is a little bit longer than like a typical just bowling game. So we will do one full traditional game and the total pinfall of that game. And a traditional game is 5 bowlers bowling for their individual scores, adding those scores together. And so that total pinfall will be worth a point to whichever team wins that total pinfall. The second round of it will be 4 Baker games, which is what our typical Baker set is in college bowling. And say Baker is where each player bowls, each of the 5 players bowl 2 frames. So bowler 1 bowls 1 and 6, 2 bowls 2 and 7, 3 bowls 3 and 8, 4 bowls 4 and 9, and 5 bowls 5 and 10. Those scores, those 4 Baker games get added together, and that total pinfall is worth a point. If the match is 1-1 after those 2 rounds, then it will commence a best of 7 roll off to determine the champion of that match and move on in the bracket.
Very cool.
It'll be really fun. It's very similar to how NCAA does all of their postseason, and it really is a true test because it measures all facets of the game. There's the match play component, there's traditional games, and there's Baker games.
Coach, you have a lot of experience. Back in 2017, you served as an assistant coach for Team USA. Tell us about that experience.
I've actually continued. Have been with Team USA since 2017. It's been a tremendous experience. I've gotten to travel to cool places all over the world and coach some of the best in the world, both the U21 team, which is our youth team, and then also the adults. Just traveled to Hong Kong in January in between our tournaments here for the World Cup, and we're lucky enough to come away with the gold on the women's side and a bronze on the men's side. But yeah, it's just really tremendously rewarding. And also, kind of like Elena said earlier, you never want to be the best or the smartest in the room. And I feel like it's an opportunity to learn every time I'm with those tremendous athletes and other tremendous coaches that I surround myself with.
Elena, you mentioned earlier that bowling is unique and there's a lot of downtime between rolls. So what does it take for you and your team to stay focused and be able to reach the goals you guys have this year?
Surface level, a lot of snacks. We love food. Constantly snacking. But on a more serious note, I think really the camaraderie between the girls. Like when you bowl, like he said, the Baker format, and you bowl frames 1 and 6, there are 2, 3, 4, 5. Those frames are right between where you are, and your teammates are throwing those. You don't throw that ball. And so sometimes in Baker, it can feel like a lot of downtime between your specific shots. And so if you're not all in on your teammates, if you're not fully behind them, it can get really draining, really far apart. Everything feels spread out and your information gets spread out. But if you kind of stay connected with your teammates and watch what they're doing, understand what they're doing, and support them through it, those moments between shots get a lot smaller. And so it's easier to keep everything connected and keep everything in line. But thankfully also, before you get on the approach, you do have a moment of, okay, this is what this person just did. I can change this. I can adjust. You don't have, I mean, we do have a shot clock when you're up on the approach, but you have when they're bowling to talk about it with coach, with our grad assistant, Ira, with the people around you. So it gives you an extra second to understand what's going on.
All right, Elena, I gotta ask, do you or your teammates have any unique rituals or superstitions that you guys do besides the snacking?
We have a couple songs that we play before we start bowling. Not sure if it's superstitious or a ritual, but they're just fun and we love them. Snoop Dogg has an affirmations song that he put out for kids, and we absolutely love it and play it before every single tournament. It sounds silly and it sounds just like a little quirky thing, but for a lot of us, hearing those affirmations and even just repeating them jokingly is really helpful in getting your mind in the everything is going to happen the way it should mindset, and I'm going to control what I can control.
Good stuff. Coach Elena, we appreciate your time. Best of luck in the postseason this year.
Thank you very much.